Hey, Cody McAuliffe here. Here's what I've learned with working with over 5,000 coaches over the last almost 2 decades of coaching. Business for coaches is very, very predictable. And when we understand how predictable it is, we can actually start to create the right strategy for the right person at the right time to be able to get the right results that they actually want. The limitation is most people get stuck in doing the right thing but at the wrong time, and this actually starts to slow them down. So what we're really looking at doing is creating the capacity to be able to ensure that we get the right strategy at the right time. And the way that we communicate this with people is by talking about the business maturity model. When it comes to coaching businesses, there are predictable things that play out. We have baby coaches that are kind of doing $0 to $10,000 a month. We have toddler coaches which are doing $10,000 to $25,000 a month. Baby coach is someone that's crying all the time. The business is very dependent on them. They're not actually getting the results that they want. Then we move to that toddler phase where we actually start to move around a lot more. We can actually get a lot more done. We have a lot more fun. But we recognize that it's very, very, very much still dependent on us. And in the toddler phase, you're running around a lot, you're moving a lot of things, but you're still not actually really getting the traction that you want. A toddler runs around and cries a lot, bangs their head into things, learns through failing. This is what happens in that toddler phase a lot. So many people that I've known over the years have gotten stuck in this stage because they get to a certain level of success, they hit the 6 figures in a year, they celebrate, and then they recognize that they're kind of in a very similar position with just a little bit more money compared to the baby stage, which is what we actually want to move through into the teenager stage, which is when we're talking about $25,000 to $50,000 a month. This is when we actually start to create some independence from our business. It's not as dependent on us and our energy in many instances. The thing that plays out with teenagers, though, is when you become a teenager, you're trying to prove your independence from your family, but you're still dependent on them for food, shelter, all of these things. So we're looking at moving beyond that. The adult stage is where we move from $50,000 to $75,000 a month. This is where we actually start to get actual independence in our business. $50,000 to $75,000 a month allows us to be able to create enough margin to be able to take profit out of the business to a certain level. We can definitely go higher levels, but this is where we can actually start to take some profit out of the business. All of these numbers are also cash collected numbers. I'm going to say this a million times to my clients and to everyone that I talk to. We're talking cash collected numbers. Sales is a misrepresentation of where we're at in business because we haven't actually collected that cash. We can't actually utilize that. It's great to be able to have plenty of sales, but cash collected is going to trump it any day. So all of these numbers are in cash collected numbers. Then we move to the highest level, which is legacy-based business, which is $75,000 to $100,000. This is where we can actually start to really take some serious profit from the business, and we can start to create a legacy well beyond what we're creating because our ideas go out well beyond the business that we're in. This is what happens at this level. There are predictable things that happen at every single level. This is what we've noticed over working over almost 2 decades in this industry and working with over 5,000 coaches over the years. At the toddler level, people need to accelerate. They really need to do more because they're just not doing enough of the right things. They don't have enough momentum to be able to move to the next level, which is slowing them down. Compare that to the teenager. The teenager actually needs to amplify. They need to do less of the wrong things. They're probably doing too many things, which are the wrong things. So they need to do less overall so they can just optimize, which is what we really start to step into in the next level, the adult level. We optimize where we actually have to stop things which just aren't working. There are projects, there are things which just aren't working that need to be stopped at that adult level compared to the legacy level where it is all about efficiency, which is really about simplifying a business. What happens is you stack systems and processes as a toddler, teenager, and adult, and you keep stacking and stacking and stacking. And when you've stacked all of these things on top of each other and you get to that higher level, typically what happens is the foundation is very wobbly. So we need to be able to go back and simplify, remove things to make it more efficient, to simplify at that highest level, so that then we can actually move on to the next phase of scaling. This is predictably what plays out in business. We see this day in, day out with the hundreds of businesses that we see every week. And what this really plays out is there's predictable things that we need at each of these levels, which comes down to the 4 pillars of every business. We need to have qualified leads coming in through magnetic marketing. We need to have seamless sales coming in through, so that we have a payroll officer in the business. If we don't have sales coming in, cash coming in, that we can't actually pay any of the bills. We need to be able to create desirable delivery, which is both desirable for you and for the client. It needs to be desirable for both so that we can get referable results. One of the core things that we do, which is entirely different to a lot of other people, is we have the Metaphor Models scaling system, which is a system so that you can double your results, because double your referrals. Because if we can double your referrals, typically your referrals are your best clients. You don't have to pay to acquire to them. They're the best clients that play out that we've noticed. So we have a Metaphor Model scaling system that allows you to be able to create desirable delivery for you and your clients to be able to scale that. We have support system, which is really about what's buying back your time, your owner independence. And these are the 4 pillars that we see in every single business. In every single business, there's going to be different things that you actually need in each of those. So if you're in the toddler phase, you're going to need a different level of magnetic marketing, different level of seamless sales, desirable delivery, and systems. The one thing that keeps most people stuck is they do the right thing just at the wrong time. They're creating a strategy for something which is a $50,000 to $75,000 strategy, but they're down here at the toddler level. They're not making the money to be able to implement that right now, which has them get stuck. When we look at this is a map. It is a map, meaning that you're going to chart your own course through all of this. It's not It's not a system that you have to follow step by step by step. You're going to have an individual strengths and weaknesses, so you're going to chart your own path through all of these things slightly differently based on what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. When we work with people, this is what we take them through so that we can actually scale from level to level and level up their business in every area so that we can scale their business without scaling their time. This is the ultimate goal of when we work with people. Each of these things aren't necessarily going to make sense to you when I show you this next section, because each of these things are trainings that we go into for anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours so that you can actually implement this system into your business so that you can actually scale it. But there's a predictable thing that plays out when we actually start to see all of the different steps that we actually need to go through, all of the different layers that we actually start to put into someone's business. When we can actually see all of the things that are playing out for them, we can see that each of these sections are inherently required. And seeing this is great, but it's more important to be able to recognize that all that there is when scaling a coaching business is a proven, predictable system based on certain principles that if we apply them based on what your strengths and your weaknesses are, to be able to chart your course through this, you can find a simple, effective way for you to grow and scale your business. So if you'd like support with this, then feel free to reach out to me further so that we can book in a call so we can show you exactly kind of where you're at, audit your systems, your processes, how you're actually acquiring clients currently, so that we can see if we're a fit to be able to support you to be able to scale your business. No guarantees. Obviously, there is a certain kind of person that we work with specifically. Also, if you're doing under $10,000 a month, we don't work with people at that level, because we choose to be able to work with people that have already got a certain level of traction that are going to create the greatest impact possible. So we only work with high level people. So if you're a toddler, if you're making between $10,000 and $100,000 plus a month, then let's have a conversation and we can see if it's a values fit for us to be able to support you in creating what you're here to create in the world. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.